This video is going to be the third part of the bonds, and it will cover the rate of return and the yield curve. Let's get started. So first, the rate of return is the total income per period per dollar invested. Okay? It's the formula for it is the total income divided by the original investment. And for a bond specifically, it will have the coupon income and the price change. Okay, you will receive coupon for holding the bond, and also there may be a price difference between your purchase price and your selling price, and that's the price change. And then divided by the investment, the price you pay to purchase this bond gives you the rate of return. Okay, let's look into a numerical example. Suppose a bond increases in price from $963.8 to $1,380.5 and pays a coupon of $21.875. So what's the rate of return for this investment? First, we have the coupon payment as 21.875, and the price change is the price you sell it minus the price you purchase it. Okay, and it's 1,380.5 minus 963.8. So this is the income you can get from selling and from purchasing and then sell out this bond. Okay, and the initial investment you put in is the price you get the price you pay to purchase the bond, which is 963.8. Okay, adding up all the income you have divided by the price you pay originally gives you the rate of return, which is 45.5% here. Okay, so in this example, you get a very high rate of return. Suppose, okay, thinking about there are two bonds. First bond is a premium bond. Okay, just a quick review from last class. A premium bond means the market price is higher than its face value. Okay, and the reason for that is the coupon rate of this premium bond is higher than the current market interest or the discount rate you are using. Okay, suppose the coupon rate is 6%. Okay, the discount rate or the interest rate in the market is lower than that, so the bond is very popular, and it gets popular, the price gets higher. So suppose the bond price is higher than the face value, and then you can see from the graph it's about like $1,350. Okay, and the x-axis here is the years to maturity. Okay, as the time moves forward, when the bonds gets closer and closer to its maturity, what will happen is you are paying out all those coupon payments. Okay, and at the end, say it's just like 1 second before the maturity date, you know in the maturity you will only receive the face value of 1,000. Okay, so at this time the bond price will also converge to the face value of $1,000. Okay, so that's the reason why the bond price will converge to the face value as the years to maturity increases. Yeah, as the years to maturity decreases, okay, it decreases to 0. Okay, similarly for a discount bond, so when a bond is a discount bond, it's offering a coupon rate lower than the market interest rate or lower than the discount rate. So here it's discounted at about $650. However, as the time moves, it's getting closer and closer to maturity. You also know in the end, like 1 second before the maturity date, you are going to receive the face value. Okay, so the face value is $1,000, which also means when holding the bond till maturity, the value of the bond is $1,000. Okay, so the price will converge to $1,000 as the face value here. Okay, so this is the shape of this graph. When the years to maturity is large, you may see a larger difference on the price of the bond. However, as it converges as it goes to maturity, it's getting closer and closer to maturity, it will always converging to the face value. Okay. Next, let's talk about the term structure of interest rate. The term structure of interest rate is a listing of bond maturity dates and the interest rates that correspond with each date. Okay, and we can plot in this relationship into a graph. Okay, and we call this graph a yield curve. Okay, so here is an example of the yield curve for the treasury strips. Okay, the x-axis is the maturity years. Okay, and the y-axis is the yield to maturity. As we can see, the maturity years is larger. Okay, it's far further from the maturity. Say it's mature in 30 years. The yield to maturity or the implied return actually is higher. Okay, you can see this curve. It's sloping upward. So we talked about the interest rate risk in the previous video, and there are also other risks associated with bonds. And the most important one actually is the default risk. The default risk is risk that a bond issuer may default on its bonds. As we said earlier, the coupon payment of a bond is a legal obligation. However, some company, when they issue bond, they have a very high leverage and they always have the possibility that they can go bankruptcy. Then they will call a default on the bond. And if you are default on the bond, okay, you may recover some of your principal, but it's not always promised. Okay? But it's still better than the stockholder. If a company goes bankruptcy, all their assets will go to the bondholder first, and then what's left will distribute to the stockholder. Okay? So every company, large or small, may having a default risk. And say if there's a very good company like Google or Apple, the default risk is low. Okay, then it will have a smaller default premium, which is the additional yield on bond that investors require for bearing this default risk. Okay? If a company is a good company, then the default premium will be smaller. If the company is already having very high leverage, some investors already fear that they are likely to be in bankruptcy in the next year, then if they still want to issue bond, the investors will require for a much higher return. Okay, that is a much higher default premium. Okay, and there are also different grades for the bonds. So the investment grade is the bond rated Baa or above by Moody's, okay, or BBB or above for Standard Poor. So the investment grade means the bond is kind of reliable, have reasonable or reasonably low default risk. And there are also junk bonds, which is on the other side, they have a rating lower than Baa or BBB. Okay, so those bonds having higher default risk. Okay, so when you invest in bonds, you need to know your risk tolerance. So here is just a table showing you the different ratings for Moody's and Standard Poor's on their bonds ratings. Okay. So last thing about bond, there you may also heard other different types of bonds. Say the zero coupon bond. Say for example, the treasury bond, they are usually sold in discount, but they may not offer any coupon. Say you can purchase the bond for a 10-year treasury bond for $800. However, there is going to be no coupon payment, and you will receive the full face value of 1,000 at the end of 10 years. So this is called a zero coupon bond, which means there is no coupon payments. However, you still have a rate of return. Okay? The return comes from the discount price you get to purchase this bond. You purchase it for $800, you receive $1,000 in the end of 10 years. So you can still get a positive return, although you receive no coupon payments. Okay. There's also a type of bond called floating rate bonds. Okay, so instead of giving you constant coupon payments, the coupon rate can be a floating number. It can be like it can be follow some kind of index, and the rate of the coupon rates can change over time. Okay, and there's also convertible bonds. So the convertible bonds means those bonds can be converted to stocks if the investors wish. So for example, if a company is kind of new and it's a young company and I don't have much information and I don't have that much confidence on this company. So say I want to protect my assets, I choose to invest in this company by purchasing its bond. As I mentioned earlier, if the company goes bankruptcy, all its assets will go to the bondholder first, then to the shareholder. So being a bondholder, you are more likely to recover your assets if the company goes bankruptcy. Okay? So you choose to invest in these convertible bonds, you can choose to hold it as bonds in the beginning, and then at some point you think this is a very promising company. You have expectation that the stock price of this company will go skyrocketing. So what you can do is you can convert your bond to the shares. Okay, so if your bond is converted to shares, now you become shareholder. Then if the company's stock price goes bankrupt, skyrocketing, you will benefit from that. Okay, so the convertible bonds gives you the choice to convert your bond to the stock. Okay. There is also the Treasury inflation protected securities, which is called TIPS. So when you are purchasing bonds, what you receive is the cash payments, and this cash payments will not be changed because of inflation or whatever. So the Treasury, they offer these TIPS that will protect your cash flow from inflation. So every year you receive the real cash flow as a coupon rate, say 5% or 3%, and then they will adjust the money you receive based on inflation. If there is a high inflation, say 3%, so instead of receiving the 5% coupon rate, you will also getting the 3% as inflation rates. Okay, so roughly that's like 80%. So instead of receiving 5% for the $50, you will receive $80. The extra money you get is like adjusted by the inflation.